One day, I suddenly realized I could hear my husband in a coma. It's been 2 months, when can I get up? I'm so hungry, I want hot pot, barbecue, spicy soup, grilled meat, seafood, and chicken stew. As he talked, he even started singing, "Little cabbage, the ground is cool, I've got money, let's lie down." I said, "Can you keep it down? It's affecting our rest." "Whoa, can you hear me? Come on, let's talk about everyday things." Lin Yuan must be awake because I started hearing the chatter again. The caregiver can't help me with that, their touch is not gentle at all. I wish I could get a different one. What was my wife's name? Actually, she's quite beautiful. My butt suddenly feels itchy. Can someone help me scratch it? I'm going to make a fuss. I was reading next to him. I was really annoyed by the noise, so I reached under the blanket and scratched his butt a few times. The noise suddenly stopped. I glanced at Lin Yuan, who was lying on the bed with his eyes closed. His face showed no signs of anything unusual. The next second, my eardrums exploded. What's wrong with this woman? Why did you suddenly touch my butt? Wow, she can't have some weird fetish, can she? Not even leaving a vegetative alone? Ugh. If only I could just throw it a bit more to the right. It's still so itchy. I frowned and scratched to the right a couple more times. I impatiently asked, "Excuse me, can we be quiet now? Can you hear my voice?" I didn't want to respond to him. I turned away and continued to read. As a result, Lin Yuan got even more rowdy. I'm a little speechless. People say he is a cold-blooded devil, but how did he become like this? Last month I traveled into this book and became one of the villains with a tragic ending, a substitute bride. The plot of this book can be summed up in one word, vulgar. I am the illegitimate daughter of the Li family. Originally, it was the original owner's half-sister who was going to marry Lin Yuan, who is also the female lead of this book, Li Mengting. Unfortunately, Li Mengting's mother couldn't bear to let her precious daughter marry a vegetative state. So I married in place of my sister. According to the original plot, I spent every day messing around after getting married. During this time, I even got involved with a minor character, trying to team up to kill Lin Yuan and run away with the inherited billions. But then, unexpectedly, Lin Yuan woke up. So my plot ended immediately. The story then turns to the love-hate entanglement between Lin Yuan and the leading actor. Overall, I didn't have much of a presence in this novel. I have the attitude of taking things as they come. I just followed the plot and stayed in the story naturally. I originally enjoyed the quiet, allowing me to read in peace. No longer have to live a life of going to work at 9 a.m., leaving get off work at 9 p.m., working 6 days a week was like a dream come true for me. So I went to Lin Yuan's ward to read during the day. At night, I would go to the big villa to sleep. I had it all planned out. After Lin Yuan woke up, I would explain everything to him and aim for an amicable divorce. Unexpectedly, just a few days later, Lin Yuan started making noise. At first, I thought he had woken up. I even called the doctor over. The result was besides me, no one can hear the nonsense, Lin Yuan said in his heart. I suddenly remembered that when I came here, I seemed to hear someone mention gold finger, which is a kind of superpower. I was stunned. Could it be that my gold finger is the ability to hear the villain's thoughts while in a coma? Then what good is this useless finger to me? Lin Yuan held back for 2 months, but after realizing I could hear his thoughts, he completely let go. Are you my bride? I remember someone named Li Mengting. Li Mengting is my half-sister. I'm her younger sister, Li Wu. Oh, I've met your older sister. Too much nonsense, luckily she didn't marry into our family. I'm not interested in girls who are controlling and duplicitous. He said she was talking too much nonsense. I think he is the one who talks too much nonsense. I rolled my eyes and hadn't said anything yet. Lin Yuan started to whine. Can you help me out one more time? His voice trembled a bit. Can you check if I got a mosquito bite on my butt? Why is it so itchy? I glanced at the man lying on the bed. He had fair skin and sharp features, with 2 faint lines between his brows which were probably from years of frowning. I thought about what he asked. My face turned a bit red. Last time. Aren't we married? It's just a butt. It's not a big deal. Lin Yuan. Okay, last time. I can't move right now. Wait until I can move. Even if you beg me to show you, I won't agree. I couldn't take it anymore and pulled back Lin Yuan's blanket, and I pulled open his hospital gown. I found that Lin Yuan might have been lying in bed for a long time, so his skin was paler. Nope. Go a bit lower. You're not even close. In desperation, I pulled his pants lower, leaned down again, and took a closer look. Just then, the door creaked open. I looked up and locked eyes with Lin Yuan's mom. My hands even ambiguously rested on her son's hips. No matter how thick-skinned I was, I couldn't handle it. Auntie, no, I mean, Mom, Lin Yuan's mom was even redder than I was. Mom understands, we all understand. No, she doesn't understand. Lin Yuan seems oblivious, still anxiously urging on, why did you stop? Hurry up. Thanks to Lin Yuan, after that day, Mom Lin was surprisingly kind to me. She bought me a gold necklace and a luxury bag. Occasionally wiping away her tears saying it's our Lin family's sorry to you. Even more absurd, the attending physician specifically sought me out to talk. In Lin Yuan's condition, the chances of waking up are high. It won't affect your future intimacy. At this stage, try to control yourself and be patient. What should I control? Control not to scratch the mosquito bites on his butt? I came back with a cold face, pushed the door, and heard the instigator shouting, where have you been? I'm so bored by myself, I don't wanting to engage, grabbing my bag to leave. He grumbled, why don't you just stay here tonight? The nurse snores too loudly, I can't sleep well at all. You could choose to sleep alone. No way, the hospital has such heavy negative energy. I'm really scared alone. My temples throbbed. I couldn't help but ask, have you always been like this? Like what? All loud and noisy. Lin Yuan was silent for a few seconds. I prefer to call myself a sunny, cheerful boy. How many vegetative patients have you seen with such a good attitude as mine? After saying that, he sighed. You say I'm handsome and have a good personality, so just enjoy having me as your husband. My sense of humor isn't that low. But I still stayed the night. It wasn't because of Lin Yuan, but because Lin's mom gave so much. I always felt undeserving. After Lin Yuan found out I was staying over, he actually got shy and asked me hesitantly, does this count as our wedding night? It's my first time, so please bear with me if I miss anything. I glanced at the man lying peacefully on the bed. Did he forget that he was in a vegetative state? Lying next to Lin Yuan, I just can't fall asleep. The Lin family is not in a good situation right now. Lin Yuan's accident affected the company's stock price, and many partnerships were forced to end. Many competing companies took the opportunity to kick us while we were down. They want to completely take down the Lin family, including the original owner's family. According to the original owner's plan, after Lin Yuan was discharged, he did 2 things. First, he killed me, and then he took down the Li family. I felt a bit uneasy as I glanced at Lin Yuan lying next to me, looking dazed. Will he really kill me? Lin Yuan probably sensed my gaze and asked, am I really that good looking? How about you touch it? I quickly averted my gaze and said, no thanks. During this time, Lin's mother has been visiting the hospital less and less. It's clear without asking that the situation at the company must be getting worse. Everything seems to be unfolding according to the owner's script, proceeding in an orderly manner. This makes me even more anxious. I do my best to take care of Lin Yuan every day, worried that if he gets upset, he might just cut me off. But unexpectedly, despite being extremely careful, something still went wrong. It started when a media outlet came to the hospital for research. A nurse accidentally revealed that I had been tirelessly caring for my husband, who is in a vegetative state. After learning the situation, the editor was surprisingly moved. On that day, a special report was published titled, "The couple had an accident when they got married, and the wife never changed to take care of her husband who was in a vegetative state." It deeply criticizes the phenomenon of young people rushing into and out of marriage. As a positive example, they highly praised the rock-solid relationship between me and Lin Yuan. It was originally just a piece of social news. It shouldn't have stirred up much. But then, it included a photo taken by someone unknown. I sat by Lin Yuan's hospital bed reading, the sunlight poured over us. It felt quite peaceful, as if time stood still. The photo was uploaded online and immediately sparked discussions among netizens. "Wow, this husband has an angelic face, I can also stay loyal to him. This guy looks strangely familiar, why does he look so much like Lin Yuan, the CEO of the Lin Group? I heard he had a car accident recently. Did he become a vegetative? Wait, when did he get married?" The result is, #Lin Yuan married, #Lin Yuan vegetative state #trended on social media. When I looked at the newspaper at the back, I was completely confused. Lin's mother looked at Lin Yuan with concern. Yuan is naturally low-key and hates this kind of gossip. Now the news is all about his illness. How am I going to explain this when he wakes up? On the other side, the low-key man wasn't idle either. I made it to the newspaper. How did the photo turn out? That nurse was really not thoughtful. If she could inform you and ask you to do my makeup in advance. And he said it with a hint of pride, "Look at me, even though I'm in a vegetative state now. But I still have countless little fans calling me husband in the comments. Xiao Wu, you should feel a little bit in crisis now. Take away please, let them take you away, immediately." Although the Lin family quickly had someone remove the trending topic. The news that Lin Yuan became a vegetative state could not be concealed. Many media outlets were blocking the hospital entrance, request an interview. If this continues, the rumors will only grow. Lin's mother is deeply worried, in just 2 months, she looks a decade older. Lin Yuan can hear the voices from outside and he said to me, "Let's go public with the media. Are you really willing? Instead of hiding, it's better to speak the truth, but I have to ask you to attend this press conference on my behalf." The day before, Lin Yuan helped me prepare a statement in the hospital. It describes in detail the entire process of Lin Yuan's accident and his current treatment situation. Though he spoke calmly, my heart still tightened. "When that truck hit you, it hurt, right?" "I don't remember," Lin Yuan pressed his lips together. "Actually, I had one thought at that time. Great, this time I don't have to marry a wife. But in the end, you still got married." His voice was tinged with laughter. "Yeah, thanks to the accident. Someone even better showed up." The press conference was held online. I finished reading Lin Yuan's script and suddenly noticed the comments were silent, the reporters seemed not very interested. A reporter hesitated for a moment before speaking, "Miss Li, actually everyone wants to know about your love story with Mr. Lin." Then, the comments started flying wildly. Everyone is asking when Lin Yuan and I got together, if it was love at first sight. Some even ask how a person in a coma can address personal needs, a rather taboo topic. I secretly glanced at the man lying next to me without knowing anything about it. My face slowly turned red. We are just a marriage of convenience between families. We didn't know each other before and there is no emotional basis at all. This isn't a secret in the industry, the reporter continued to ask, after Mr. Li was injured, "Did you ever think about leaving?" I shook my head, after all, I'm afraid of dying. "So what attracts you to stay by Mr. Lin's side?" I mean, since he's the big villain who could kill me, of course I'd stay by his side but I pretended to think seriously for a moment. I just feel like he's quite lively and cheerful. The event ended, I sighed in relief. "You worked hard. Wife. The voice made me shiver, and I blushed again thinking about the reporter's question. I stammered, not hard at all. I thought this was already over. But the next day. #LiWu's press conference #surprisingly trended again. I felt a bit nervous. Did I mess up something in the interview yesterday? Sincere attitude, gracious performance. Especially your heartfelt confession. Don't worry, even I was moved. The netizens have no reason to make things difficult for you. I gathered my courage to click on the topic and immediately saw a tweet that went viral. "LiWu, my husband is not a big devil, he is the sunshine boy in my heart forever." What the heck? In the comments, the netizens were going crazy too. Lively and cheerful? Although I really like Lin Yuan. But is LiWu really talking about him? Help, LiWu, if you're being kidnapped, just blink. Am I the only one who finds the setting of a comatose CEO and a wealthy daughter particularly attractive? I agree with the message above. My first reaction was the same, then the building started to lean, and everyone began discussing my pairing with Lin Yuan. Some even started the #WuYuanRealm topic in this wave. Lin Yuan couldn't sleep at night, so he forced me to read fan fiction written by netizens and read it to him. After 3 months of loneliness, LiWu walked into the sickbed. Taking advantage of the moonlight to pounce on the peacefully sleeping CEO, she couldn't help it. LiWu suddenly threw off the covers and pounced on Lin Yuan. I suddenly paused. Lin Yuan urged, "What happened next?" What did LiWu do next? Then LiWu lifted the covers and pressed a cross on Lin Yuan's hip. I blushed and closed the phone. Close your eyes and sleep. Lin Yuan knew it wasn't written like that. Annoyed, he huffed, "I'll see for myself when I wake up." I have to say the press conference had unexpectedly good results, even surprisingly boosting the stock price of the Lin Group. Many fans started supporting the love life of the young heir of the Lin Group. Choose and buy several Lin Group products. Help LiWu take down the Comatose CEO soon. If you don't buy it, how can Lin Yuan continue to be CEO? If Lin Yuan can't be the CEO, how can I enjoy my romance novels? Some netizens also started reviewing the products made by the Lin Group. I've always bought from Lin's, to be honest their quality beats many international brands. More and more people are starting to pay attention to the Lin Group. It helped the company inexplicably get through the crisis. But some people are happy and some are worried. The Lin Group is making a comeback, and the Li family feels threatened and begins to take action. A few days later, Li Mengting came to find me. "Oh, I just heard the news about your marriage. As your older sister, I'm sorry for you." The insincere sisterly love gave me a chill. I handed her a piece of paper and asked, "Why are you here?" "I'm here to help you." Li Mengting sniffed and began to explain to me. "My family insisted I marry Lin Yuan, so I ran off to America out of spite. But I didn't expect them to let you marry over here. Anyway, I came back as soon as I heard the news." "Oh, I've always seen you as my little sister. Don't worry, I won't let you marry someone like Lin Yuan. I've already talked to Dad, and he agrees to let you divorce Lin Yuan." I hadn't even spoken yet when Lin Yuan clicked his tongue twice. Does she think we're fools? The reason the Lin family can bounce back. It's all because the fans are shipping them. This is all because fans are supporting our love. Now they're pushing for your divorce. Isn't it obvious they want to bring down the Lin family? Of course I know this too. I shook my head. No need for that, I'm doing quite well right now. Stop lying to me, Li Mengting said as she grabbed my hand. Her tone was urgent. I know you were forced by the Lin family to say that online. Oh, trust me, Lin Yuan is not a good person. Hey, you can talk, but why attack someone personally? Lin Yuan was not happy again, muttering to me, this Li Mengting is ugly enough, but why isn't she kind? You know, if this were a fairy tale, she'd be the evil stepmother, right? I felt annoyed. Can you shut up? Li Mengting was taken aback by my shout. Her eyes turned red again. Oh, you don't believe me? I'm not talking to you, Forget it, you continue. Li Mengting probably felt that she had said something bad about Lin Yuan. It made me not want to listen. To strengthen her persuasion, she exhaled, since that's the case, I won't hide it from you. She cautiously looked around to make sure no one was there before speaking. Lin Yuan has violent tendencies. Since the age of 6, he has caused mediocrity's legs to be bitten and maimed by dogs. That person can only sit in a wheelchair now and even burned his classmates' arms with cigarette butts in high school. He forced his classmates to drop out of school. From childhood to now he is known as a bully in the circle. I glanced at Lin Yuan. No matter how I thought about it, he couldn't have done such things. As expected, Lin Yuan sneered. Our family helped disabled people find jobs back then, and the uncle who fed the dog was originally disabled. Back in high school, that chubby kid showed off his tattoo, but the homeroom teacher caught him and he lied, saying his arm was burned by a cigarette butt. With such a rich imagination, why doesn't she write a novel? She'd definitely make more than she does now. And one more thing, do you know how his father died? Seeing me shake my head, Li Mengting lowered her voice. He wanted to inherit the family business. He poisoned his dad to death. Then, Lin Yuan went crazy. Honey, you let her wait. I'll call my dad out of the coffin right now and take her away. After Li Mengting left, Lin Yuan was still in bed, too angry to speak. Seeing me reading as if nothing happened. He was unhappy. Aren't you angry when someone slanders me like this? I wanted to laugh. Li Mengting should be your wife. If you dislike me, I can help you get her back. Are you saying you want to dump me? Is that what I mean? Lin Yuan sounded like a husband who caught his wife cheating. His voice was loud and exaggerated. Li Wu, don't you want to take responsibility for me anymore? I was stunned by his words. Take responsibility for what? What, do vegetative patients have no rights? Look at a vegetative person's butt can be irresponsible? Can we move on from this matter to the next article and just let it go? After that day, Li Mengting never showed up again, but I always felt this wasn't over. As expected, a few days later, a strange man blocked my way. Oh. Do we know each other? Are you still mad at me? The man looked somewhat dejected. The truth is, I didn't take you away before the wedding because I was threatened by your father. You know my family situation. I can't risk my mother. This sentence brings back some memories. I strained to remember the original plot. You are Zhang Mingshu? You finally want to talk to me. Okay, the big scumbag who encouraged me to elope and eventually caused my tragic death also appeared. Lin Yuan has been lying in bed for 4 months now. According to the timeline, it's almost time for him to wake up, and I don't want to complicate things right now. I took a step back and said, sorry, I'm already married, so don't come looking for me again. I thought I made my refusal clear. Zhang Mingxua actually started showing up around the hospital to confront me. He was indirectly trying to make peace with me. Your sister told me that you're not happy at all right now. That day, Zhang Mingxua followed me all the way to the hospital room on the top floor. He burst in and said, your father has agreed to let us be together. The biggest obstacle between us is gone. Oh, I can't believe you forgot me so quickly. As he said this, he actually held me in his arms. I want to take you away to a city where no one knows us, and we can start over. Are you out of your mind? I was about to push him away when I suddenly heard Lin Yuan's voice. You two are quite intimate even in a hospital. You two really have a taste for the dramatic. Zhang Mingxua suddenly pushed me away, and I sensed something was off and turned back. I saw the man who was originally lying in bed sit up. Why did you stop? I woke up at a bad time and interrupted you too. So this was Lin Yuan himself speaking. My heart raced as I rushed to his bedside. You're awake? Is there anywhere that hurts? Lin Yuan distanced himself from me lightly. No need for Miss Li to worry. If you have this time, you might as well handle your personal matters first. Then talk about divorce later. Lin Yuan woke up. My golden finger magic also disappeared. He doesn't remember anything that happened during his coma. That experience felt as if I had imagined it. At this moment, the doctors gathered in the ward, conducting various tests on Lin Yuan. Every physical skill is fine. Congratulations to Mr. Lin. You can be discharged soon, the doctor sighed in relief. With a smile, he said, and congratulations to Miss Li. The waiting period is finally over. Lin Yuan frowned seriously. What waiting period? The doctor probably thought we were really close and spoke without hesitation. Your wife took off your pants while you were sleeping. I told her to take her time and wait a bit longer. After saying that, she winked at me. Don't worry, I've checked everything for your husband. It's all perfectly normal. Hearing this, I felt completely unwell. Why is this doctor so chatty? I hurried to explain, it's not what you think. Lin Yuan glanced at me. Miss Li's preferences are quite varied. The first thing Lin Yuan did upon waking up was to call the company assistant to the hospital to ask about the company's situation. Thanks to the lady, everything in the company is running smoothly. My mom? No, it's your wife. The assistant handed over the phone. They released the video of the press conference that day. After watching it, Lin Yuan's hands were shaking. He looked at me with anger in his eyes. Who allowed you to hold this kind of press conference? Spouting such nonsense, I originally didn't say a word. Hearing this, I was a bit displeased, given that the news of the injury has already been leaked. Do you think I shouldn't have held this press conference? Lin Yuan opened his mouth but couldn't say anything. Then I asked him, during the press conference, do you think there was a problem with the event description in my speech? Or in the subsequent questions from reporters, which is there a problem with how I described your personality? Lin Yuan still didn't say anything. I raised an eyebrow. Since there's no problem, what issue do you have now? This was probably the first time Lin Yuan faced a rebuttal. He was stunned for a moment before letting out a hum, sharp-tongued. I mimicked him and let out a cold hum, burning bridges. I didn't want to stay in the same room with him anymore. Before leaving, I thought of something. I pulled out a stack of paper from my bag. Here, this is for you. I originally planned to use it to lull you to sleep tonight. But now, since you're already awake, you can look at it yourself. What is it? I opened the first page and pointed to the title on the paper. Report to the lady, the CEO has become a vegetative again. Looking at Lin Yuan's suddenly stiff face, I let out a light snort. You won't die from anger. I don't know if it was triggered by fan fiction, but I hadn't seen Lin Yuan for several days. When we met again, it was already a week later. He stormed over to me. Is this your clever plan? I looked at the CEO, who had been acting like a puffer fish since waking up. I was a bit speechless. What plan? He threw a stack of photos at me. I picked them up to take a look and couldn't help but frown. They were all pictures of me and Zhang Mingshu. There was the first time we met outside the courtyard. There's a photo of Zhang Mingshu loitering around the hospital, and even one where he forcibly hugged me. However, the angle of the photos is quite tricky. It even creates a somewhat sweet atmosphere. That's when I realized what Li Mangting and the others were thinking. If the divorce doesn't go through, they deliberately use Zhang Mingshu to fabricate the illusion of my infidelity. Use it to defeat the benefits of marketing a beautiful relationship before. I still vividly remember how the original character died. Now, looking at Lin Yuan's gloomy expression, I'm a bit panicked. The photos are fake. I'm stuck with you every day. When would I have time to meet other men? Stuck with me? I suddenly fell silent. Lin Yuan sneered, now you don't even put your heart into lying. Are you sure I can't do anything about you? I really can't stand Lin Yuan's sarcastic attitude every day. Lin Yuan, are you two-faced? You don't really think that way, so why say those hurtful things? You were clearly happy when it made the news, and you follow those fanfics more than anyone else. You were definitely jealous when Zhang Mingshu showed up. And you really don't want to divorce me at all. Why do you have to act like this? It's really annoying. Li Wu, who told you this nonsense? You told me that you talk nonsense to me every day. I shot him a glare, believe it or not. Having said that, I left too. Lin Yuan stood there for a moment, seeing that I really had no intention of turning back. He got angry, saying, "What did I say that made you so mad?" Putting everything else aside, it's about the husband seeing his wife with another man in such intimate photos. Asking for an explanation isn't too much, right? I couldn't be bothered with him, saying, "Wait until you fix your attitude as a husband, then come talk to me." Although I had a conflict with Lin Yuan, we both knew that once the photos were leaked, it would cause a storm online. The public is the easiest group to incite. Some people don't care about the truth at all. They only believe what they want to know. Recently, Lin Yuan leaves early and comes home late every day, overwhelmed with work. I wasn't idle either. I had someone help me investigate Zhang Mingshua's personal information. A few days later, there were indeed results. The other party hacked into Zhang Mingshua's computer. They obtained his financial transactions. Half a month ago, Li Mengting transferred 1 million to Zhang Mingshua's personal account. After that, he started tracking your movements. I also put the hospital surveillance footage you wanted onto a USB drive. It can prove that you didn't pay any attention to Zhang Mingshua's harassment. I waited until very late. Then Lin Yuan returned home. "I need to talk to you about Zhang Mingshua." I followed him into the study and took out the documents in my hand. Here's a video of Zhang Mingshua following me. And there's the transfer record from the Li family. Can it prove my innocence? I waited a long time, but Lin Yuan showed no reaction. I looked up, and he was staring at me. His gaze was a bit unfocused. I leaned in to smell him. "You've been drinking." Lin Yuan pinched his thumb and index finger, "Just a little," he confirmed. He was already drunk. I started to put away the things on the table. "Get some rest. I'll come find you tomorrow," I said as I turned to leave. But Lin Yuan stood up and grabbed my arm. "You're so fierce," he said, his eyes watery. He looked at me with a pitiful expression. "Why are you angry every day? Aren't you the one getting angry every day? Mr. Unhappy Lin." Clearly, he won't listen to my explanation at all. "You took a picture with another man. That was fake. Did you let him hug you?" I pushed him away. "I don't care. You're my wife. I haven't hugged you, so why should he?" After saying that, Lin Yuan came over and hugged me tightly. Then he rubbed his face against my cheek, satisfied and praised, "It smells so good." Clearly, a drunk Lin Yuan is more honest. He hugged a pillow and followed me into the bedroom, insisting on sleeping with me. "No way." I kicked the man who was comfortably taking up half my bed. "Go down. We're married, why can't I sleep?" "You'll regret it tomorrow." "I won't." I finally failed to drive him away. Because I am very curious about Lin Yuan's expression after sobering up. It must be quite something. The next day, it didn't disappoint me. When Lin Yuan opened his eyes, he looked like the sky had fallen. "What happened?" I propped my head up with my hand. In a good mood, I said, "It was you who climbed into bed in the middle of the night. You ask me what happened. I should be that one asking you." I sighed and said, "Sure enough, they say men can't be trusted online." Who would have thought that the well-dressed CEO Lin during the day actually do such sneaky things at night? Lin Yuan's face gradually stiffened. "It's an accident. I understand the classic lines of a scumbag. I'm going to ask a locksmith to change the lock on my room today, so that you won't come into my room and blame me for not locking the door." When Lin Yuan left, his face was so dark it seemed like it could drip water. After being stifled for half a month, my heart finally felt clear. But there is also a disadvantage. After that day, I was regarded as a monster, and Lin Yuan hid when he saw me. I tried several times to talk to him about the investigation, but he coldly shut me down. Even Lin's mother noticed something was off and came to ask me, "Are you and Yuan having a conflict?" I hesitated for a moment. I asked, "Mom, do you think Lin Yuan's personality is a bit strange? Sometimes he's quite lively, but sometimes he's very gloomy, it's hit or miss." Lin's mom was silent for a long time. After a long time, he finally spoke. "Actually, Yuan has an older brother." I was taken aback. I didn't know that. The book doesn't mention much about the antagonist's family situation. I only know that Lin Yuan comes from a wealthy family. After his father passed away from illness, he inherited the family business. He quickly became a young talent. Lin Yuan wasn't like this when he was younger. He was lively and active, always climbing trees and being mischievous. Yuan's brother, on the other hand, has a calm personality. Originally, his dad and I planned for his brother to take over the company, allowing Yuan to grow at his own pace. But unexpectedly, when Lin Yuan was 8 years old, his brother passed away. That year, we took them out to play. Suddenly, a storm hit. At that time, Yuan was swimming in the sea, and his brother was rescuing him, and he got swept away. Since then, Yuan completely changed. Out of guilt, he forced himself to grow up overnight. Slowly, he became like his brother. So, the feelings I heard were the true essence of Lin Yuan. Lin's mother had slightly wet eyes as she held my hand. At that time, we were all immersed in the grief of our eldest son's passing. We didn't notice anything was wrong with Yuan. By the time I realized, it was already too late. "Oh, I can feel that. You mean something different to Yuan. If you have any feelings for my son, could you help him?" Mother Lin's words made me think about it for a long time. Do I have feelings for Lin? At first, I thought I didn't. Getting close to Lin Yuan was purely plot-driven, and pleasing him was just for self-preservation. But when did it start to change? Maybe it was when Lin Yuan kept chatting with me, or when he thanked me and called me his wife. During this time, Lin Yuan became a different person, and I found myself losing control. I think back to Lin Yuan from that time. I wonder, if that Lin Yuan wakes up, would he act cute with me? Would he cling to me for company? Until that night when Lin Yuan got drunk, he hugged me tightly and said he missed me. My heart, which had been in suspense for so long, finally settled. Actually, I also want to tell him that I miss him too. Does this feeling count as liking him? That night, I deliberately waited until late. After Lin Yuan came home, I took my pillow and ran to his bedroom. "Is something wrong?" "Nothing, just looking to sleep with you." "Don't overdo it," I said with a slight smile. I prefer to call it treating others the same way they treat others. Lin Yuan said with a hint of sarcasm, "Li Wu, do you not recognize your own identity? You're just a substitute bride. Once the public opinion dies down, we'll separate." "So you mean that, you want Li Mengting to accompany you?" I suddenly realized. I took out my phone. "Then I'll call her for you right now." Then I really started dialing. "Sister, it's Li Wu," Lin Yuan said. Before I finished speaking, Lin Yuan lunged over and snatched my phone. He glanced at my dark screen and realized he had been tricked. I took the opportunity to wrap my arms around Lin Yuan's waist and winked. "Yeah, the doctor was right." Then I lowered my voice. "You really have recovered well." In that moment Lin Yuan's face turned red, and he couldn't say anything for a while. He stiffly walked to the bathroom and slammed the door shut. I laughed out loud. At that moment, I finally realized that I liked him. I really liked Lin Yuan. I clarified my feelings. I wasn't shy about it and would go see him every few nights. At first, he was still reserved, pretending to shoo me away. Later, he just relaxed and let me do whatever I wanted. One day, I wasn't feeling well and lay in my bedroom, not wanting to move. Unexpectedly, in the evening, Lin Yuan came over. Looking at me with a furrowed brow, he said, "Li Wu, are you the best at giving up halfway?" That was said in a really confusing way. It took me a moment to realize that Lin Yuan was actually hinting at me. It's menstrual period now, not feeling well, take a day off, and with that, the bedroom door slammed shut. It startled me. I feel a little uneasy, after all we are friends who sleep together. Why so mad? What does that even mean? A few minutes later, the door opened again. Lin Yuan walked in with a blank expression. He is holding a cute, pink thermos. Brown sugar water, he said, placing it stiffly on the nightstand. My mom asked me to give this to you. Oh, thanks to your mom. Lin Yuan stood there looking at me for a moment. He pursed his lips and walked away. Wait until 12 o'clock, I was lying in bed watching a show when the door opened again. It was Lin Yuan again. When you're not feeling well, you shouldn't stay up late. I finally got annoyed. Is that what your mom said too? Lin Yuan didn't respond, he just walked over, took my iPad, bent down, and scooped me in the blanket into his arms. What are you doing? He didn't say a word, and walked back to his bedroom, then placed me on my usual side. With a straight face, he said, close your eyes and go to sleep. Why does that sound so familiar? Isn't that what I often say when I'm trying to get him to sleep? I have to say, my sleeping strategy has worked. I can clearly feel the change in Lin Yuan's attitude towards me. Although he doesn't talk as much as when he was in a vegetative state, at least he acts like a normal person now. Just when things were going smoothly, my photos with Zhang Mingshu were leaked. And adding fuel to the fire, it was Li Mengting. She got ahead of me and accepted a media interview. In front of the camera she cried, I owe it to Ao for this matter. She married Lin Yuan on my behalf. If it weren't for my impulsive runaway marriage, she wouldn't have had to part with the person she loved, and she wouldn't have married Lin Yuan. If you want to criticize, go ahead and criticize me, just don't blame my sister. A bride waiting to get married? Is this really happening in the 21st century? The wealthy are too chaotic. The marketing is so disgusting. Do such fake lovers really have true love? Earn money from netizens, and then instead of really falling in love together, they each have a partner? For a moment, I don't know who to feel sorry for. I guess I'll just feel sorry for myself. The money I spent on this couple has now turned into my tears. Immediately afterwards, the #1 in #WuYuan realm hashtag. Li Wudai is trending hashtag, even Li Mengting hashtag has been put on the hot list. That's when I really became famous. People online are criticizing me in new ways. An illegitimate daughter is an illegitimate daughter, but I think Li Mengting carries herself gracefully. She's different from Li Wu. I can't shake this conspiracy theory feeling. Li Wu's proxy marriage is probably self-directed, right? Is she just trying to marry into a wealthy family? She played her cards well, marrying a man in a coma, getting money, and gaining fame. And it doesn't stop her from being lovey-dovey with her little lover. But unexpectedly, her husband woke up. 2333. Lin Yuan walked over and took my phone away. Stop looking. I'm fine, just find it quite interesting. I'm just an ordinary person. What right do I have to be ridiculed online now? It's my fault for not handling it well, Lin Yuan said, sitting next to me. I'll help you prepare a clarification statement. We'll sort out all the timelines. If necessary, we'll hold another press conference. Are you preparing the speech too? I thought for a moment and shook my head. Forget it, I don't want to face the camera anymore, Lin Yuan said after a moment of silence. Don't worry. This time, your husband will personally be the spokesperson for the news. I didn't react at first. What's so strange about that? A few minutes later, I went over the conversation again. Then I realized, Lin Yuan, did you remember something? What are you thinking about? Lin Yuan didn't look up. He kept staring at the computer. Are you talking about the cross-stitching? He suddenly remembered. I was both surprised and happy, standing up. When did you remember? Lin Yuan finally stopped moving, a hint of helplessness in his eyes. Since that time when I was drunk, it had been such a long time. Then why didn't you tell me? You actually asked me to take the initiative to find you to sleep with every day. He looked embarrassed. I also went to find you. I gritted my teeth and decided unilaterally to have a cold war with him. Lin Yuan stood up, pulling me close. I'm sorry, dear, he said in a low voice. Your husband has his pride too. I thought back to that time. I couldn't help but laugh and let out a hum. The things you did are quite shameful. The evidence was organized chronologically and posted online. It left Li Mengting with almost no room to fight back. After discussing, Lin Yuan and I held an online press conference together. We explained the events to the online community. A reporter asked, "Is the proxy marriage true?" Lin Yuan didn't shy away, saying, "It's true," his voice cold. The engagement with the Li family was arranged by our parents. But I have no feelings for Miss Li Mengting, so I intended to refuse. I just didn't expect that before it was resolved, an accident occurred. My mother, eager for her son. She wanted to use the happy occasion to push things along, so she discussed with the Li family about moving the wedding up. Of course, the Li family didn't want to marry their daughter to a person in a vegetative state, so they allowed my current wife, which is how Li Wu came to marry me. Lin Yuan smiled. I am very grateful to my in-laws for making this decision, which allowed me to find the person I truly love. What do you like about your wife? Lin Yuan pondered for a moment before speaking slowly. Kind and honest, wise and clever, each word seemed to carry countless stories. The reporter was moved by Lin Yuan's gaze and was speechless for a few seconds before asking me again. Miss Li, we actually asked you the same question earlier. I'm curious, now that Mr. Lin is awake. Has your answer changed? I smiled. I shook my head. No, what I like is always the lively and cheerful Lin Yuan. The truth came out, and the Li family was trending for the wrong reasons. Later, someone followed the clues and discovered an economic dispute that dragged the original owner's father into a lawsuit. In the early stages, Lin Yuan's deliberate suppression, combined with the later shift in public opinion, led to the Li family's business never recovering. I can't help but sigh. The main character should have been Li Mengting. How did it end up like this? This is called the villain's victory. At this moment, I realized too late, I became aware of a problem. Li Mengting is the female lead, but who is the male lead? I feel like I have no impression at all. Li Mengting is getting married. That day, Lin Yuan came home with big news. Who is he? The boss of Zhou Enterprises. Zhou Group sounds like a big company. I guessed the male lead must have appeared. So I asked, he must be pretty handsome, right? After all, he's the male lead. Lin Yuan glanced at me and casually opened his phone and opened someone's Moments. I stared at the man, at least a 60-year-old balding man with a big belly. Are you kidding? He's an old man? The situation with the Li family isn't looking good, an old man agreed. Marrying him now wouldn't be bad. I wasn't giving up. Does he have a son? A really handsome one. After all, the whole young stepmother literature is quite popular now. As a result, Lin Yuan looked gloomy. Now even a husband in a vegetative state can't satisfy you. You're already thinking about someone else's son. That's not what I meant. I was being serious. Before I could finish my sentence, Lin Yuan lunged at me. A few hours later, Lin Yuan finally let go of me. Are you satisfied now? Still thinking about someone else? No, I wasn't thinking about anyone to begin with. I couldn't be bothered with him and rolled my eyes. Lin Yuan leaned in. Honey, there's something I've been really curious about. The first time I showed you my butt, how did you feel? I thought back, and couldn't help but smile. It was so white, just like a big white bun. Lin Yuan. The end.